Driving business.
It's 30 minutes to the top of the hour. Definitely heading into the last minutes of the show. That is Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barita this morning. Definitely that I'm driving you through these related discussions. And remember, we're still talking about the budget and this time around into the area of transport. But before I proceed any further, the markets on the Zabu platform are here for you. What are you waiting for? Star 292 hash is simply the USSD code, which will enable you to be able to buy government bonds and securities for just as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now the markets, as I speak right now, already opened. They open at 8:15 a.m. and they'll be closing at 3:15 p.m. This runs Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays where these markets are inaccessible. But despite the fact you have the rest of the 5 days to capitalize and make yourself some huge lots of money there as you're trading government bonds and securities as one of the ways to earn yourself a side income. You know, there is what they call money working for you. This is what exactly what it means. Star 292 hash, regardless of where you're located. All you need is your mobile phone, and life will be made much more easy. Now, Zabu says, my future, and the Autotex East Africa tells us, do something new come the year 2023. And now, definitely, as now we get back to our discussions with Paul Rukundo, we're still breaking down some of these related insights. Mr. Paul, you see, an area like Kalangala, it's very absurd that among us, because in most cases when we hear about infrastructure, what comes in our minds is roads, but it's way bigger than that. Roads, you know, we can talk about there's water transport and all that. Now, for areas like Kalangala, why should they really, in your opinion, do you really think it's right for them to have budgets for roads? Of course, they could be there, but why shouldn't the focus be put onto, it's an island? I mean, it's an island. It's surrounded by water. You know, having the infrastructure that is suitable for water, so that in that way we shall have even diversity. They call it diversification when it comes to means of transport in the country.
Thank you so much, Andrew. No, a few weeks back, I think we were in Karangara for some kind of work that we are working on, and of course we're also trying to interact with the people there to look at some of their challenges. And one of their challenge is the connectivity, the movement of people within that area, because this is an island. You find that they are close to 40-something islands. So you find that one island maybe has no health service. So you have to cross the other island to access, health services. And the mode of transport are these, boats that people actually come up with and start, doing transport. Like the way you normally buy a boat here and start moving.
Yes.
Yeah, but the biggest challenge is that it is a bit expensive to hire that boat to move you from one place to the other. Some are engine boats, then the others are these manigach fuga. So you have to use
they call them
enkasi, yes. To move from one place to the other, which is a very big challenge. Actually, some people are confessing to us that in some cases people try to even swim. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Start connecting from one island to the other, which is very, very risky. Because this is a very big water body, and you are trying to but because you need the service, you find that you have no option. You have to try and find ways of moving to the other side. So it is a very big challenge for these people, and I think this is where we need to also convince government to make sure that in their locations they try to find ways of putting public, boats, that can really move these people from one island to the other, so that they can access some of these services. Because people need to move, need to trade, need to move their merchandise, need to access several services, because when services are centralized at the district, then that means there are people who are not getting those services, because if the transport sector is not well defined, then they will not be able to move from one island to the island where the district is to access some of the services. So it is a very big challenge, and of course we realize that even the public servants don't actually even attend their offices.
The public servants.
Yes, because they consider it as a hard to reach area. Yes, it is a hard to reach area, but when you are deployed there, you're supposed to go there and work. But of course, they also find it a bit risky to move on those boats from here to there, because the ferries that are there actually also connect to the mainland this side from Entebbe, then their side, and some other mainlands. But the ferry is timed. There is a time when it moves, there is a time when it does what. So you must, the moment you delay a bit, the ferry has already moved. Yes. So do we have an alternative transport system that is in place in case when the ferry is already moving, and the ferries also have the capacities of things, the tonnage that they carry. They don't carry everything that is there.
Yes.
So so you find that when you find that the ferry is already full, you have to again wait for several hours to wait for another ferry that comes and takes another route. Yes. So when if we devise a means of having these boats that are the engine boats that are actually even if they are charging minimized amounts of money to make sure that we help these people to move their merchandise, we help these people to move and access several services, it would be really very much good for them and also for the economy, because there is a lot that is also happening in Karangara. Of course, they are into palm wine, they are growing this.
They grow palm.
Yes, palm.
So palm oil,
the palm oil. So this is a very big business for our economy, because there is something they have which they are selling, which they are getting money from. So if you help them to move their merchandise, to move those palm oils to the mainland, then you are giving them business, and you are growing the economy. So I think as we allocate this money, this 1 billion to every district, to every whatever, Karangara should also be looked at
with a different budget.
Yes, with a different budget and different angle, because for them what they need is much more than these roads and maintenance, because it is not their choice that they live in a water area. Yes. So but we need to look at that, and also make sure that we make it easy for them to move their merchandise, also to be able to access several services.
Okay, very interesting. And maybe let's take a look at
maybe before we go that, there is something I also wanted to share in line with the Karangara area.
Yes.
For us who take the Katonga route, when the flooding happened, we advised that we can use Entebbe, connect to Karangara that side, then move to Masaka, and then move. So you realize that it is a very big alternative route that can actually, help in moving even the Kampala people to other areas. So we need to also put in much effort in making sure that that area is also streamlined.
We have a number of ferries.
Yeah, so that even when there is even when there is nothing on the mainland roads, we are able to also use the water system.
Reduce the congestion on the roads.
Yeah, exactly. It reduces on the congestion on the roads, on the traffic. Because if I go to Entebbe, get onto the ferry, I just sit. I'm not tired, driving and all that. I'm relaxed. Then I connect to Masaka and drive to Mbarara and some other areas. So I think it is a best alternative route that we also need to look at and also support to make sure that we improve the movement of people and their goods. Yeah.
Wow, very, very interesting and remarkable. That is the Kalanga lane for you there. Some people actually swim to get to other areas, something which is risky, as we've been mentioning. Anyway, now let's take a look at the standard gauge railway. Talks are done so many times, but it's not really given much emphasis and much attention. But I think if we are talking about, because now we are going to have the intra-African trade, what we call the African Continental Free Trade Area, but I believe before we can entirely be successful at it, we need to first achieve success within the East African community, the trade within us, because that will act as our basis point for us to break even into the bigger market. And for that to be possible, for us to perfect at least the regional market, we need the standard gauge railway, the railway lines. In good condition and good shape. When we don't have any fear that something is going to disrupt all that. So what's your take on that? The renovation of those Canadian railways, and it has taken a bit while.
Yeah, sure. This project was, it is an East African project that they all agreed on as leaders of our region, and in Kenya it's already operational.
In Kenya,
they are already moving, and. We were told here we are still compensating people who are on the run that the standard gauge railway is supposed to to pass. But of course that's our country, that's our economy. There are several issues that we did not work on earlier to pave way for the new projects that will come maybe. Because there are several laws and policies that are in place that may also act as blockages to some of these new projects that come in. But in this budget that we are actually focusing on, I have seen they have also allocated resources to the completion of standard gauge railway, and also the maintenance and revival of the meter gauge railway.
Yes,
because for me, I think if we achieve this, it would be really very, very instrumental in our in the economy, because these railways move things in bulk.
Very true.
Yeah, they move things in bulk, be it goods, be it people. So you'll find that we have less congestion on the roads, because one of the reasons why actually our roads are not safe, it's because also the population of cars has also really increasing.
Every person who gets money
gets a car. So when we have this public transport in form of railways, we have now a bigger number of drivers, of owners of cars seated in the train, and they're actually moving to their destinations, which actually lessens the congestion on the roads. So I think my prayer is that it should be worked on, because I understand in every area almost there is a discussion around
the
gauge railway and all that, but we end up finishing that financial year with
nothing is done about
with less that is done on that side. So I really want to be optimistic this time that this project will be operationalized, that it would be worked on and operationalized, so that we are able to relieve the roads and have that area also work for us, move our merchandise, move our people, and ease mobility within the Kampala metropolitan area, and also some other areas, because I understand it comes from the Kenya border, then it crosses to Tanzania, then Kasese, crosses to Congo and all that. So if we have that standard gauge railway working, that means it will be very much easy for us to connect to all these areas with really less driving was also a tiresome kind of activity, and that's why we always have these road crashes on our roads, because some of our cars are not safe, some of our drivers are under influence of several things. So when you have the standard gauge railway in place and also the meter gauge railway, then instead of risking to drive when you're under influence of something, then you can just sit in your train and move, because in all these developed countries it is the mode of transport that they are using.
Absolutely true.
And it's really helping them to move and go to work, move and transact. So it is really a very big thing that will come to our economy. So we pray that really it really works and it is pushed, and we shall also try to push and support government. When we talk of supporting government, people think that we want to give it money, but the support cannot only be
even it can come from sensitization.
Exactly.
Sensitization campaigns,
and also engage government and say this is a big deal. Why can't we really push for it and make sure that it works for all of us? Because it's a matter of talking to each other, talking to government, talking to the policymakers, talking to the implementers, and say, you guys, this is a very big thing.
Yeah.
So let's have it in place, and so that it can work for us as Ugandans, and also push and multiply, on what we give to the country in form of taxes and all that. Because the more business, the more taxes.
The more taxes you get. Well, it's 15 minutes to the top of the hour. We're still discussing the road, the transport, the budget. Now, Mr. Rukundo, before we wind up, let's talk about, you mentioned something so interesting at the beginning, I think it was in the first half, about budgeting for road safety.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the road safety in the country, the situation has really deteriorated so much. And like what I said, it is attributed to the high population of the vehicles, then lack of road safety interventions. So the situation is really so bad. And we actually lose a lot of Ugandans due to these road crashes. And according to World Health Organization, we rank 30 in the world.
30.
Yes, in terms of death rate.
On roads.
The people we lose in these road crashes.
Road crashes.
Yes. And these road crashes, it's estimated that we lose close to 4.4 trillion a year.
4.4 trillion.
Yes, in these road crashes. In terms of loss of productivity, because when you're a victim of these road crashes, you are unable to work.
Yes. And the organization working for your business is not.
Okay. So you are unable to work. You also, lose property, because we have seen, these crashes end up crashing buildings, end up crashing these cars. So when you really look at the amount we lose, it comes out to close to 4.4 trillion. We also have the cost of actually the medical insurance. Yes. Because these crashes that happen, people are taken to hospitals. Yes. And you find that government is buying those medicines to treat them. They treat them. They are paying doctors to treat these people. So you find that we are allocating 4.5 to the Ministry of Works to handle the road sector, but we are again losing the same amount in these road crashes. So the same amount
of money we're investing. Oh my goodness.
So you find that at the end of the day we are in a circle. We're in a circle. And you find that for us to actually iron this out, we just need to make our roads safe. As simple as that. Just make our roads safe, we minimize on these road crashes, and then we shall be good to go. Because what I think that is that should be done, and these are some of the discussions we had with several stakeholders and partners as we are conducting our research. Some of the things I talked about them, we need to really have the road, the safer road management.
Safer road management.
Yes.
It's much more, is it cheap in terms of cost?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Because when we want to ensure that our roads are safe for everyone, some of the things that I talked about of having paved ways and gazetted areas for pedestrians to walk on, having demarcated lines of this is where the cyclists are supposed to drive their bicycles from, this is where the cars are supposed to move from, and all that. Then also making sure that these regulations that are in place are enforced.
That is another issue.
Yeah, making sure that we enforce some of these regulations that are in place. Because we have really, ignored some of the things, because, when you have really not lost someone in a road crash, you tend to take it as if it is something,
normal.
Yeah.
Like you don't
like you find it, because it is not about you, it's not about you. Exactly. Yeah, but what I think is I may call it the good thing much as it is bad, is that the road accidents actually they are for everyone.
Yeah, they don't know boundaries.
Yes, they are for everyone, because whoever drives bad on the road is likely to experience such. And we have had several people in this year we have lost a number of them.
Actually, even late last year we lost a number of
some are even policymakers, some are actually. So you find that this is a challenge for all of us, and we also need to come together as citizens to push and make sure that these interventions of road safety are put in place and the regulations are enforced, because for us our argument is that if we have 4.5 trillion allocated to the Ministry of Works and yeah. Why can't we get close to around 10% of this
10%.
money to ensure that
we yes, put it in road safety?
Put it in road safety. We make sure that the roads have the signs. And those signs are respected. If it is 80% kilometers per hour, it is the one that you're driving. We do the awareness, we do the sensitization of these drivers, the road users, so that we make sure that the roads are safe for our people. So for me, that's I think it is really important that we don't have to wait to first lose a member of our family or a member of our community for us to understand
that accidents are
really that are really very a critical issue in the country. So I think of course it is what we are pushing, and we are actually working closely with the Ministry of Works and also certain policy makers to make sure that we actually achieve this. We make sure that the money that is allocated to the Ministry of Works, we have a bigger percentage. Because currently it is close to 0.1% that is allocated to road safety.
That's little.
Yes, it's really very little. And you find that this money also, like last time it was, most of the money was, put in computerizing the driving permits and all that. So you find that on the roads there is really little that was done in terms of making sure that the signs are in place, the awareness is created, the sensitization is done, of which we think these are important interventions that we can conduct with government as civil society, can partner with government to make sure that we have these drivers, we have these barazas of trying to tell these people, these drivers, that it is really very bad to drive at a terrible speed. Yeah, it is really very bad to drive while you are concentrating on your phone, while you are doing some other things, because you are putting you are putting at risk
your life and the
and the driver and the passengers that you are carrying. So I hope really we shall probably achieve this, because for the time we have been engaging with policy makers and of course other stakeholders, they have also tried to realize that there is need for us to really strengthen these interventions, the road safety interventions, so that we can save a number of lives, because we are losing very many people as a result of these road crashes. So I think it is something that we need also to look at and engage government to increase those allocations so that we are able to achieve this.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul Rukundo. It was really a great honor to have you here, and that was quite a very insightful aspect. What has been my highlight of this discussion is the very money that we inject into the sector is the very amount of money we lose due to the loopholes still within the sector. 4.5 trillion lost annually when it comes to road victims, accidents, and the same 4.5 trillion allocated to the transport sector. I hope really the stakeholders look into that. There is something not to take lightly and for granted. Well, it's 7 minutes to the top of the hour, and that is it for today's show. But of course, before we get out of here, don't forget the Markets on the Zabo platform, which have already opened. *2# is simply the USSD code for you there, and you will be available with a number of options where you will be able to trade government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the markets open at exactly 8:15 a.m., closing at 3:15 p.m. East African time. Effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when these markets can't be accessed. But of course, despite the fact you have the rest of the 5 days to capitalize and make yourself quite a huge lots of money, something which I believe is very key and vital for your personal growth and development as a trader. Yes, and to earn yourself a side income. You never know what's going to happen throughout the week as you're trading, but definitely when you have your side income here, it can really comfort you in a way, just in case things really didn't go the best. All you need is your mobile phone, whether a button phone or a smartphone, and you will be able to trade. Now, Zab simply says, my money, my future, and the Audit East Africa says, do something new. Of course, now don't forget on our channels, channel 372 on DSTV and channel 320 on GOTV. And now you can also catch us on free to air and our smart digital app. Go to your Google Play Store and download it. You'll be able to stream all the live shows that are happening. Just even in case you missed the show, you can catch it up there on the smart digital application. And of course, channel that is on our social media handles at Smart24TV. That's on Twitter, Smart24TV official. That's on Facebook, and Smart24TV live on YouTube. Here you can still stream us at any part of the country that you will be at as we bring you the latest business, sport, local, and international at the same time, and Smart24.tv. That's on our official website. You get the further details regarding the in-depth analysis of the different stories that we put in there, and also it's an update avenue for you to get the latest business news happening in the country. Of course, that is it. It's 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Till tomorrow, Smart Business, which I'll be returning, of course, as we wrap up the week. Be productive and good morning.